Hi, I'm Courtney Starhart Hale, and I'm here to talk to you today about one of my favorite plants. A long time ago, when I wanted to apprentice to be a shamanic initiate, I was told that I had to go out and learn about nature and to learn about how to grow my own food and how things work in order to be able to actually understand a different way of thinking. So I did, and I've been enjoying gardening all of my life, but very specifically in the last 10 years looking at seed sovereignty and health and how people can grow in their backyards in order to make sustainability an attainable goal for everyone. So what I do is I install gardens and help people to design things that are beautiful for their backyard and that are realistic so that, things can be installed for them. They just kind of allow the timer to go on and water their garden, and people can come and work on it for you and harvest for you, or you can learn to do it yourself. But either way, I think that people should know about how things work because it's really amazing. So one of my favorite plants is arugula because it grows everywhere. It just kind of almost grows on its own. This is arugula. It has a zesty little flavor, and it's one of the most nutritious greens, like pound for pound in terms of what it packs. If you look at statistics about arugula versus lettuce, you find that regular iceberg lettuce has a significantly lower content of vitamins and iron and phytonutrients, anti-carcinogens. So basically, the greener and more pungent a vegetable is, the more you're getting out of it. So I love arugula. One of the great things about it is you can actually make pesto with it. Nobody ever knows the difference. You can make a wonderful pesto that goes with southwestern food with arugula and coriander or cilantro and lime. And I like to use coconut oil because it's really healthy. Olive oil is great too if you're not going to bring it to a high temperature. So there we are. There's a free recipe for arugula and cilantro pesto for southwestern food. Another thing that you probably want to know if you're going to grow your own arugula is that the seeds are really easy to keep. You saw the leaves before from the way the plant looks when it's growing. When it goes to seed, it actually shoots up these stalks that have little tiny white flowers. Very, very pretty in spring. And they actually taste really good too. They make wonderful decoration for salads. I'm sorry, little flower. I could just eat you all up. Right here, we have a bunch of arugula seed. Thank God for arugula. I'm really grateful for arugula because it's really cool to play with. You can see over here this plant has tons and tons of these little pods. And inside them are all of these little seeds. In fact, I'm setting a bad example for seed keeping because these are a little bit past their prime, and as soon as I'm touching them, they're just exploding. I know you can probably hear that crunchy sound. But what you do is you want to get these into a bag. Usually I would take a bunch of these stalks and just kind of put them into a large bag and let them dry. This is what they look like at the right moment, okay? These have gone too far here, and they're just going to drop their seeds as soon as I touch them. So I'll show you in a second. I'm going to have to put a big bag over them and just pop them all in there. But if you can catch them when they're about like this, when they're starting to turn brown, but they're not completely dry and fragile, this is the way you want to get them. And if you put these into a bag, like so, and allow them to dry for a little while, then you can sit with your kids or your friends or what have you, and it's really fun to pop open these little pods and drop the seeds out. It's kind of a fun experience. So arugula apparently goes to seed in spring whenever you hit a certain temperature. Here in the desert it's pretty warm, and I like this plant a lot because it's very drought resistant and heat resistant. It can take a little bit of shade, as you can probably see from that line of arugula back there, but it can also take the full sun as long as its roots can get down. and it just reproduces so easily, and it's so delicious. I really love arugula. So I'm going to show you what I have to do now. I'm going to take this bag and just kind of start putting these big old stalks into here and kind of shaking them. In this case now, I know that a lot of the seed has dropped onto the ground, and I'm probably going to have arugula starts even growing up in the cracks of my cement. But here's that in there. The seeds drop to the bottom. You can also see down here that there are tons of the little seeds all over the blanket. So if you can put a sheet down or something when you're collecting the seeds, you're going to save a lot of them that way. One day I had to ask the kids to pick them up one by one, and they were really irritated with me. Probably shouldn't do that. So keep a sheet down or a large piece of newspaper. Make your life easy, and you'll capture a lot more of the seeds. So when you put arugula seeds into the earth, all you have to do is just disturb the soil a little bit, about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, and you just kind of move the soil around. If you have some fresh compost or something that you can lay down on the top to keep those from getting dried out, that is really great. Make sure to keep them moist in the first couple of weeks, because if they get dried out, even if they've started to sprout, you may never see them. They can get dried out and then they get completely wiped out, and you'll never so much as see a sprout. So especially in the desert, you have to be careful of that, and I highly recommend getting some type of cover, whether it's straw or it's compost or mulch, and you just lay that right down on top of the seeds when you've planted them, and you'll have a lot of success in your germination rate. These things, as soon as they've made pods, they're ready to go. And if it's the right temperature and you have the right amount of moisture, you're going to have a garden full of arugula. And it's really yummy. Bye for now.